make a sound.
Everything went wrong after that. Ida's new home with the Reverend and Mrs. Carraway was comfortable, but it was no protection against the growing superstition outside. It didn't help that it rained all the time in slippery black drops that clung to everything. It was not a bit helpful that all of Catterwall's children were having nightmares about ugly black creatures and pale little girls with dark eyes. It was certainly no help that everyone knew what happened to Mrs. P. And still, Ida would not say a word. The time came when the pressure of it all was too great for the Reverend Carraway and his wife, so they decided to take Ida to an orphanage just outside of town. They left in the night, but their efforts were in vain. Before they'd even made it across town, a crowd of angry people, led by Earl Ham, the timber yard manager, blocked their path. "What's the meaning of this?" asked the Reverend. "Constable Corning, are you mixed up in this too?" "That little girl is bad luck," said a woman in the crowd. "That little girl is the cause of everything gone wrong in this town," spat Earl Ham. "Mabel Plum over there lost her whole shop in a fire 'cause of that little girl. That little girl was there when old Ernie's roof fell in. And that little girl is the reason my boy's got to have crutches. She ain't just bad luck, Reverend. She's evil." The crowd roared in agreement. Earl Ham rolled up his sleeves. "You're a God-fearing man, Reverend," he said. "Don't try to stop us." And he didn't. Not even when Ida was plucked from the car and carried away by the crowd. They took Ida to the shore of Lake Coriander. There they cheered as Earl Ham wound her up in chains. Chains weighed down by heavy horseshoes. "For luck!" he sneered, and everyone cheered. But Earl Ham was about to do something horrible. Until that moment, no one quite realised just how horrible he intended to be, and no one, not even Earl Ham, knew what would happen once he did. If only he'd known what brought Ida to their town in the first place.
Ida, darling, wake up. Do you remember the monsters that Daddy told us about?
But Earl Ham did not know. Nor did he know of the ancient evil that gathered even now beneath his very feet.
Do you remember what we practiced? Oh no, dear, shh, we mustn't cry. We must think of love and happiness and all the wonderful things that make us strong so we can fight them. Let's sing a happy song, shall we? Which one shall we sing then?
Earl Ham did not know that this evil had travelled the world for thousands of years, sometimes gobbling up entire cities, leaving no one to warn of it.
Keep singing, darling. I'm just going to put this around your neck in case anything bad happens. There's nothing worse than not having a name. Oh God, not now. They don't know what they're doing.
He did not know of the silent hunters who chased the evil through time, fighting it with their mysterious magic. He couldn't have known, for they swore themselves and their descendants to secrecy. But had he? He might also have known that the hunters were usually only strong enough to stop the evil just in time, before its destruction could get any worse. This often left them in unfortunate positions that their code of secrecy did not allow them to explain. Their greatest enemies were the very people they protected.
Ida, don't make a sound. Just keep running.
Earl Ham did not know that Ida was the last of her kind. "Back to the devil with you!" he jeered, and he shoved Ida into the dark water. He laughed in his triumph, but no one joined him. The once angry mob was now an uncomfortable lot of people who wondered if they'd just participated in something rather awful. Before anyone could think of what to do about this, a terrible thing began to happen. Hundreds of terrible things, in fact. Free to carry out their evil, now that Ida could not stop them, Catterwall was surely doomed. Meanwhile, deep below the surface of Lake Coriander, a little magic was stirring. As Ida struggled to escape, she thought not of her sorrow, but of the love she'd once felt. She thought of her mother's words. She thought of Mrs. P and Mr. P and their sunny garden. She even thought of Petey, and how he'd wagged his tail when Ida saved him from certain death. Oh no! She would not let the terrible things harm Mr. and Mrs. P any more. Oh no, she would not let them hurt Petey again, no matter how he tried to bite her ankles. The terrible things had done enough damage, she decided, and it was time they learned their lesson. With these thoughts, Ida's magic became so powerful that the chain snapped into pieces, and she shot from the water like a cannon, landing upon the shore with a thump. The terrible things could not be destroyed, but Ida knew, because her mother told her, that if she sang her favourite song as loudly as she could drive them back to the horrible depths. Not much was left once the danger was gone. The few who lived pretended it had all been a very bad storm. They didn't speak of what they did that night. Most left town and never returned. Catterwall became an empty skeleton of a town, and was eventually paved over for several successful factories and a shopping centre with world-famous bargains. As for Ida, no one knew what became of her, but I believe she lives and travels the world to this very day, hunting all the terrible things and preparing for the day they rise again.